Here we have a graph 5x plus y equals 2. Now we could graph this like in number 1 where we use the x and y intercept, which would be fine except for the problem when you find the x-intercept. So if you were to find the x-intercept, your y would be 0. So that would give you 5x equals 2, which would give you the fraction 2/5. So when you have to graph a fraction, the fractions are in between these lines. Where the lines intersect, like right here, those are integers, -1, 1, 2. But when you get to a fraction, 2/5, it's not all the way there. So it's like, let me erase that. So 2/5, is it there? And then you find another point, it's hard to connect. So in that case, you want, and plus, this is just another way to graph how we're going to do this here. So let me erase this. All right, we're going to graph using y equals mx plus b form. So y equals mx plus b. Remember the m stands for slope, and that's your rise over run, your tilt of your line. If it's positive, is it negative, is it positive? Your b, that's your last number. That's the constant term, that's your y-intercept. So the steps, 1, put the equation in y equals mx plus b form. So we have the equation in 5x plus y equals 2. We want the y by itself, so the 5x we need to move over. So y equals, opposite of positive 5x is negative 5x, and then bring down the plus 2. You want the constant term on the end, that 2, so that you know, oh, that's the y-intercept. You want the x term first by the equal sign. Move it over, change the sign. We solve for a positive y. If that were like 2y, then we'd have to divide everything in the problem by a 2. But it's not. So next step, identify your b. So your b is 2. That's the y-intercept. That's the ordered pair 0, 2. So you want to go to this on your y-intercept. Remember, this is your x-axis. This is your y-axis. You want to go to 0, 2, which is right here. X is 0, y is 2. That's your first point on the graph. Then you want to use your slope. Now, your slope is this -5. -5, and make it a fraction over 1, because that's rise over run. And remember, -5 over 1 is the same thing as 5 over -1. And the positive and negative tell you the direction to go. So now we're going to use rise over run. Let's do -5 over 1. So from this point, I'm going to count down 5 spaces because it's -5. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then I'm not going to put a dot there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a little dot there just so you can see, but I'm going to erase it because that's not where the dot goes. And then the bottom number is a positive 1, so it goes to the right one. So this is where the dot belongs. All right, so I went down 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the -5 over +1. Now, if I did the opposite, 5 over -1, notice if I start from here, I should land on this 2 there. So 5, -1, up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's positive, and then -1 over to the left 1. So it goes back. I could keep going up 5, but I'd be off the graph, so no need to do that. And remember, your software will put the line in there for you. Now, this slants downward. You read a graph left to right, and this is slants downward, okay? This falls. So that means you have a negative slope. If it rises, you have a positive slope. So reading left to right, you start at the left up here, and you're going down. So if you had a graph that went like this, that is rising. Left to right, it's going up, so that would be a positive slope. All right, we're going to graph this. This one is already in y equals mx plus b form. So we're going to follow the same steps. It's in the form, so we've got it in form. We need to figure out what the b is. The b is 2. So that's the ordered pair 0, 2. So x is 0 and y is 2. And then we're going to use the slope, the m. Now remember the slope is a fraction. If it's not a fraction, you want to make it a fraction. It is not the x. The x just tells you where the slope is. Notice this is a positive slope, so it's going to rise. So we know it's going to go like this. If it doesn't go like that, then check. Maybe you're moving the numbers around wrong. So we have rise. That's rise is up and down. And the bottom number is run. That's left and right. So we start at this ordered pair 0, 2, and then we use our slope. Now slope is not a point on the line. It's what we do to that b to get to the other points. So 3 over 2. I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over to the right 2. And notice that's going to give me a positive slope. So now if I wanted to check it, I would do the opposite, because remember 3 over 2 is the same thing as negative 3 over negative 2. So I would go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 2. 1, 2, 3, left 2. So there would be my other point. 1, 2, 3, left 2. So I could get more than just the 2 points that the software requires.